Hi, I'm Yinka, and this is The Hurt Locker, a podcast where we open a door into men's mental health. Coming up, what support is made available for the likes of you and for others who are on the front line, who were there to pick up the pieces?
Nothing.
You've made an attempt.
Yeah.
You've told work about this.
Yeah.
You're in crisis, and they said to you, wait 3 to 4 months.
Want to give them a reason to be here for tomorrow.
What's your reason for being here for tomorrow? You're listening to The Hurt Locker, the podcast that opens the door on men's mental health. And tonight's guest, we have from Liverpool, Joe Jones. Joe, welcome to The Hurt Locker.
Thank you very much, Yinka, for having us. Appreciate you the support and giving me a chance to discuss my story.
No problem. It's our pleasure. It's certainly our pleasure. For the benefit of people who don't know you, who is Joe Jones?
I'm a lad from Liverpool who's got lived experience of mental health, dealing with crisis, and attempting my own life back in October. From this, I spent 4 weeks in a secure unit and realised that the support was very, very nil. They had no psychologist on the ward. And from there, it was kind of trying to get self-help and finding a path that I can choose that works for me, which I have. And I did get some professional help down the line, but it's to now spread the awareness and lighten the load on other people and want to give them a reason to be here for tomorrow.
What's your reason for being here for tomorrow?
I now appreciate myself, and I know it sounds like cliche, and so, but I found self-love, I found self-confidence again, and a reason why. And it's dead simple. Of you got family, and you realise how much devastation it would have caused if I wasn't here, and being here, and the simple things of walking the children to school and picking them up. I love it. When I was in that mindset last year, that there was no emotion to anything, and I just felt nil and void. Didn't appreciate myself. Didn't want to be here. It was like it was just a canvas. There was nothing to me. But now, back then I wasn't scared to die, but now I'm petrified, and I want to help others. I want to help my family, and I want to make memories and catch up on the times that I've missed.
You know what? Thank you for sharing that, because really, you say back in October last year, 2025, and effectively we're only talking, 9 months ago?
Yep.
Okay, before I ask what's changed, tell me a little bit about what led up to.
Yes, so through working in the emergency services, I've dealt with multiple traumatic incidents in terms of murder, stabbings, children, miscarriages. And back when my son was three months old, on the night Liverpool beat Barcelona 3-0, 4-0.
4-0.
He's 4-0, yeah. He stopped breathing. He'd got saliva and reflux, and it got lodged in his throat. So I managed to stimulate his breathe until the ambulance come, and then he made a full recovery. He's been great ever since, but I just buried that and put a face on, sound didn't bother me, blah, blah, blah. And then through work, got exposed to more and more trauma. And I got to the point where I was having panic attacks every other minute, going to sleep with a night light on. And in my head, I was like, you're 34 years old, going to bed with a night light. And that was just so when I woke up, I could see the room and wouldn't panic. Kept thinking people were in the house. I was having night sweats. And I'm very, very lucky if I got an hour of sleep a night whilst trying to function and be a parent. And it all got too much. And then hit the ale more than I should. And I think that was the one that gave me like the false confidence to do it. And fortunately for me, I was found by my wife, and lucky enough to obviously be here now and want to push through. And it's not easy. It's not. And I think that's what people need to realise. Dealing with mental health and suicidalness and trying to function and get your life back on track whilst being a parent, it's not easy. And that's what people need to realise. But every day you get by, it's nice, and people should appreciate the hard work they're doing to get through to the next day and understand that it gets slightly better, and you're gonna have good days and bad days. But for me, changing that negativity and getting your brain to thrive off positivity, it's a powerful, powerful device. But for some reason, we don't train it enough to be powerful. We thrive off the negativity and the neglect, and want to always take a step back. But it's like, okay, well, take a step back, but go forward the next day. That's my mindset. I've got a belief in what I want to do. I want to be here for my family. I want to be the best I can, and I want to help people.
Okay.
And I just want to encourage people to have that confidence in themselves.
Okay. Can I ask, being a representative of the blue light services, whether it be police,
Yeah.
fire, or ambulance, and all that, I get the notion that you're encountering traumatic events multiple times, possibly multiple times on a daily basis when you're on shift and that.
Yeah.
What support is made available for the likes of you and for others who are on the front line, who were there to, without being graphic, pick up the pieces?
Nothing. Pretty much in a nutshell. I obviously went off, I think it was July, when I didn't see it out. I just attempted on my own life to see what it was like, figured out that it didn't work. It didn't hit. And eventually I opened up to my wife to say, look, this is what's going on. And when work were made aware, I got told I had to wait 12 to 14 weeks to see Hockey Health. Even though
12 to 14 weeks.
Yeah.
So we're talking 3 to 4 months. You're struggling,
Yeah.
and you've been told to wait 3 to 4 months to get support.
That's it. I was on. That was whilst I was under the crisis team.
Wait a minute. So wait a minute. So let me just backtrack.
Yeah.
You've made an attempt.
Yeah.
You've told work about this.
Yeah.
You're in crisis, and they've said to you, wait 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
Neglected. There was nothing from me. So when I spoke to Hockey Health, they were like, well, you're under the crisis team, so it seems like you're doing everything right at the minute. But once you finish with them, you might not need us, so you can let us know. I just never felt so brushed off in my life. And then that's when I realised, you're just a number. You mean absolutely nothing to the force, the blue light. It doesn't matter. You know, you work until you can't, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay. And
you're dispensable.
Yeah. And we're human at the end of the day, like you said before, we're just human. That is it. And you can do so much. And it can be the tiniest thing, like dropping your phone can send you over the edge. But
absolutely,
people don't have to have anything traumatic to end up suicidal. It's all the brain. But obviously, when you're in that mindset and you're like desperate for support and then you don't get it, and then that's when I spiraled more from that. I was doing okay for a bit, then spiraled, and then that's when I fully attempted on my life in October.
Okay. For you, right, what stopped you from saying help prior to reaching that crisis point? What was getting in the way?
Classic, man.
Thank you. I wanted you just to be honest on that one.
I went back to like the caveman days of I'm a man, I'll be okay. I come from a family of men who used to work on the doors, and I was trying to be, I'm not like that. I'm a big softie. I like to look after everyone. I think that's what I was trying to fight against, of feeling vulnerable. And once it come out, and I had a hard heart with my dad and my uncle, and they were all like, do you not think we get scared? Do you not think we feel weak sometimes? And in my head, I was like, oh, maybe they do. But for me, it was like, you've got to be a man, you've got to provide, you've got to see it through, you've got to ignore what you do and just crack on. And it's the worst thing. It absolutely eats you alive.
Absolutely.
Speaking from experience, I got come down to end up having less than an hour's sleep a night. It was just the worst thing I've ever been at in my life. It was just horrendous. And
how were you able to function on an hour's sleep a night and that? Bear in mind that being EMT, you know, going to these traumatic situations, it's pressurized.
Yeah.
You've got to be on point.
Of course.
It's a matter of life and death sometimes.
And I imagine that's like the adrenaline side of it kicking in, and knowing the colleagues you're with, obviously you want to look after them as well. and you just get through, and then eventually you just have them moments where it gets too much and you can't function, and your body's delicate, and especially your brain and everything. If you're too much in your brain, it can't cope, and if you do too little, it can't cope. And trying to find that middle ground is so hard.
You said talking to you spoke to your Al fella and all of that. How did you feel afterwards talking to him? Bear in mind his response, don't you feel as if we get scared, blah, blah, blah?
It was humbling in a way that they are, in a way, they do it to look after us, like the children. They put on the front like I was to look after my own family. But he's never, how can I describe, like, he's never had to show that side where I held it in. And that's when he's like, well, yeah, we do, but we're dealing with it. He might speak to my mum about his problems. I'm not too sure. I'm unaware if he has or not, or his brother, or because I'm not sure. He may have, where I didn't open up to anyone. And I put this big front on and mastered the art of putting a smiley face on and being the bubbly person I am. But once, it was like I've got his reassurance in a way. I know going all around the world.
In what sense?
That it's okay. And I've always seen my dad as my dad, and we just talk. We never like really heart to heart. And when he was like, do you not think we do? And it made me think, oh gee, like there's my dad who I see as this big macho man, and he's like opening up to say that they all like people feel like that, so it's okay. And I'm not a big fan of that saying it's okay to not be okay, because if you're not okay, it's not okay. But it was just like he put his arm around me. I was like, it's all right, and that it was just weird because I've never really had a heart to heart. I know my dad's there. I can call him anytime, but it was just in that present moment when he was like showed his vulnerability. I was just like, wow.
Did he? Is that what you felt from him, that he showed his vulnerability in that?
Yeah, that's it. And I know they got brought up in a different time, like in the 60s, and
100%.
total different time, and they had to fight to survive, as a lot of people did back then, because there was nothing. Where that's why he works hard, and we've always went well in life and been looked after, and I'm very, very fortunate compared to some people. But yeah, it was just that when he was like, well, yeah, I feel the same, and I was like, oh wow, it was just like, oh god, yeah, like there's your dad saying he worries as well at times, and you're like, oh, when you never thought he did, because you don't see that as the big present person, but obviously he's got a heart as well and a brain, and it can hurt us at times as well.
Have you ever seen him cry?
Never seen him cry. Nearly.
Has he seen you cry?
Yeah, God, he's seen me. Yeah, he was in hospital with me after obviously my attempt. When I got blue-lighted into hospital, he was there, and then we were there till the morning and waiting to get admitted. So come home with my dad to my home with the family, and then he'd been up all night, and then me and him just lay down next to each other while I slept until I got a spot in the hospital. So he was just there right through and seeing me at the worst, and now he's seeing me on the up, and it's great.
Did he hold you as he lay down?
Yeah, and even in the hospital, he hugged me. Even at home, he hugged me, and he's like, it's going to be okay. There's no telling off in it, like, you're stupid for doing this, you're doing that, you're doing wrong. It was like, okay, well, look.
He wasn't asked about how it looked, the optics on it. He just wanted the best for you.
He just wanted to know that I'm going to be safe. And even now, it's totally changed the way we are with each other. Even though we were close, we're a whole lot closer. And I'd say that right through my mum, my brother, my wife, my friend. Like, it's just in a weird way. I tend to suicide. Like, it's saved my life. I don't want anyone to misunderstand that, or to think, oh my god, I can try suicide and it'll fix it. It doesn't. But for me, I'm in such a better place in life now, and it would never have been that way if it didn't.
Can I ask, you with your missus and that, you've got kids and all that. How was it for your missus?
Horrendous. She's still getting counselling now. She panics most days. If I don't answer my phone, sometimes she can get a little bit worried if I come in a little bit late and don't come straight up to make her aware I'm home. She'll panic, and you don't realise it is selfish what I've done.
No, Joe, it's not selfish. It's
It,
not selfish. I know what you're trying to say, but it's not selfish.
it has solved my problems, but then the problems then for everyone else, and I'm so fortunate and glad that it didn't work out, and I am here because the impact it's caused to my wife is horrendous. It's scarred her mentally, and I want to make that better for her. And everything I'm doing is doing now. The trust, it's getting there, and it's going to take time, and that's something I've got to work on, and keeping the openness and honesty with her every day, no matter whether it's good or bad. Just telling her where I'm at.
Communication.
That's it. And it's just
And that's something I've never really considered or thought about. But the breakdown in trust,
yeah,
because you're attempting to end your own life,
yeah.
and she's not up to speed with that. That's come out of the blue.
Oh
and
yeah,
she's probably saying to herself, "WTF?
yeah.
Why didn't you even give me a sign that something was amiss?"
That was it. It was like, why didn't you just speak to me? And I was like, well, I didn't want to. I didn't want to bother anyone. I didn't want to feel like I was a hindrance. And that is the issue of no one wants to hear about this. No one. And my therapist, who's now my friend, he said to me, I would rather you call me and I speak to you at 3 a.m. than have to speak at your eulogy.
100%.
And I was just like,
Just stop. Think about that.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
And it shows people care. And that's what we need to realise that.
You know what? There was a little quiver in your voice then when you said that people care.
They do.
Because it felt as if it felt when you said that was a shock.
Yeah. And it's like two sides. I know the care is there, but I never wanted to accept it. When
right.
I always thought I'd never let it defeat me.
But what is it that's going to defeat you? What is it?
Your own mind. Yeah, like I say, if you've got no belief in yourself, no love, no passion, you can just have passion for anything, a hobby, whether it be big or small, and as long as you've got something to give you purpose and keep it going, then go at it, do it. Like, people worry too much about what people think of them and what might get said. Well, they're going to think it. They're going to think it anyway, so let them.
100%.
You know, that old saying, sticks and stones. Like,
we know that. We had that growing up, didn't we?
Sticks and stones, and you're like, okay. But I'd say it is. It's not hard. I think I was my own worst enemy, and I was stubborn. And that was I'll be fine. Yeah, well, I'll deal with that. And then, but inside, it was just a trembling mess. It was, yeah. And when your mind runs off for itself, it's hard to stop it.
I was just thinking, Dan, since Liverpool beat Barcelona 4-0, we're talking a few years now that you've been in that point of crisis. Didn't anybody ever come to you and say, "Are you all right, Joe?"
Yeah, but I was always like, yeah, I'm fine. I always like to look after everyone else and put others first and put myself in any harm or anything. I'd always put myself in front of it to protect people, even though inside I'd be scared to death of whatever I was dealing with. But I'd always do that to look after people, and I didn't put that worth into myself.
Have you stopped that now?
Yeah, I'm still very caring, but I've got everything I'm doing at the minute just with a close circle of friends and family. I'm not going out all the time. I'm not overdoing things and focusing on myself, my family. And when I have time, then I'll go out with my friends just to have a catch up and keep the socialization and being with your mates, like the old camaraderie and stuff like that. And I think that's healthy as well. But it's nice to focus on myself for once. By myself, that is everyone who's included with me. That's how I see it. We're all together, but at times I like to be at home. I like to have my music on. I like to just go for a little walk and just relax and think about things that are nice and what I've got. But yeah, I'm very, very appreciative of everything I've got. And it is in a way a shame that it took what it took for me to see that. Because it's there, it's in front of you.
It is, but sometimes we don't even recognize or acknowledge that it is there, or as you say, appreciate.
Yeah, and the emotion, I think that's the biggest factor is there was no emotion. Even when my wife would go, well, do you not think about the kids? And I was like, well, yeah, but I knew they'd be all right. And she went, but how would they? And I was like, well, they would. They still got my family, still got you. And she's like, yeah, but that doesn't make it all right. And then when you look at it now and you think, oh, God, no. And you don't want a broken home. Kids need a dad as much as they need a mum. And being without either one, imagine it's drastic. I've never been in that situation. I've had a mum and dad and still have. But I imagine life's so tough at the minute for kids out there and growing up without someone for them to come and lean on the shoulder to cry on if they need to, or they need picking up, or, sort of homework and someone just to talk to or play games at night. That's the stuff they miss out on, and they're the things that make children who they are.
Absolutely. Can I ask about how your mother's response has been to you?
Yeah, she was petrified, just like my wife was. They'd come and visit me most days, and she'd get upset. And I think if you look at me, I'm like 6'2" and broad, like him, but
Built like a brick, yeah, outhouse, yeah.
Yeah, and people will probably look and go, "Oh, yeah, he's a good," but I'm not. I like to be nice to people. I like to have a nice life where I always, I don't know, I'll stop and talk to people, or I'll help someone on the bus, or let someone sit down, or an old dear with I love all that, and I lost that in a way. I was just, like I say, emotionless, but now I don't want anyone in my family or friends to feel the hate that they felt, and seeing their smiles when I set the project up, the field of 4,200 lights. It was just, it was like one of the best things that's ever happened. It's amazing. It's just that giving that little bit back to them, I think, means so much to me.
We'll come on to the project in a bit. I'm just wondering whether or not your mum or your dad ever asked you whether or not was it something that they did, or
No,
or if your friends felt the same, or if they ever said, "Why didn't you come to me?"
Everyone was the same. Yeah, why didn't you speak to us? We phone you, you answered, and you help us, but why didn't you do the same? And I was the same. I didn't want to be a burden. Didn't want to put any pressures on you. Everyone's got their own life to live, and I just thought it was going to be fine. But selfishly knowing that I wasn't fine and I was spiraling, but thinking I can just keep hold of it. But the other side's looking at it going, and you can see yourself slipping downhill quite quick. And it's that bravado of being a man, isn't it? It's probably the worst thing that anyone can ever try and be. All right, the times will need to be brave, but they're very few and far between. Other than that, you just enjoy yourself, just be happy.
Do you have sons and daughters?
I do. I've got a son who's 7, and I've got a daughter who's 2 in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so how then, given your experiences, do you parent your son now? Because it ties in with the question of what is a man.
Yeah, with tenderness and love, and there's no judgment in the house. No, it's you listen to what they need to say, and as long as they're happy, they're happy. Like my son's very in touch with emotions, a bit like me, big softy, and it's the nicest thing to see him like just flourish and be happy and not have a worry in the world, and that's what I want him to continue doing. And I'd probably say I'm a little bit more tender with him and offer more love, even though God, I love him dearly. It's like I see that sensitive side that kids have, and they shouldn't have to have a single worry in the world, apart from brushing their teeth in the morning. But
Of course,
that's
nice.
Yeah, and that's it. And I just thrive to see them every day, and like say, walking them to school. Like I love that, and it probably means the world to them. Walking next to your dad, going to school, having a talk, having a bit of a giggle, or we'll put our headphones in each and we'll listen to the same songs. And it's simple things that just absolutely fill me with joy.
And memories that last a lifetime.
And that's it. And I want to make as many as I can. And they deserve it. They deserve it. God, they were out with Dad for 4 weeks whilst I was in hospital, and they were coming to visit me. And obviously we'd go off site and we'd go for some food, but then I'd have to pretend, oh, this is just, I've come away to do some work and this is where I'm at. And my son's not soft. He was like, well, that says NHS. I'm like, oh, no, yeah, it's just an old building. Don't worry about that. And you can see that. He can probably see that I'm not okay. God, the state of me when I was in there was all gaunt and shattered, obviously on all new meds, and it was a tough time. But seeing them and speaking to them, I don't think you realise how much they change your life for the better.
100%. Do you think there'll ever come a time whereby you'll, obviously age appropriateness, but do you ever think you'll talk to your son about?
It not even crosses my mind. It sits on my mind every day, and wondering, will they do more harm telling him or not?
That's difficult, isn't it?
That's it. Or will it give him the confidence to say, well, my dad's opens up to me and I can open up to my dad? And
isn't that okay? So that, there's a loop there, because I was talking about parenting and how, given the experience, that may change the way that you parent and that, and I'm wondering whether or not we had Dr. Susie Bennett from Glasgow Labs, and she's doing a lot of research on why men die by suicide. And one of the things she talks about is how boys and girls, when they're under 10, they get the same tactile treatments, hugs and all that. But from about 13, we stop hugging boys.
Yep.
And some boys still want to be hugged.
Of course. And
they need that. But yeah, like a societal thing says, oh no, we stop that now.
Yeah. What reason? And this is why do we do that? And this is what I'm trying to figure out, of why don't we hug them right through until you're on your final breath? Like, what's wrong with showing that affection? Like, and I think children need that more, and I don't think you realise how much that gives them hope and courage. The fact I give my lads a hug every day, I know the main thing to say is have the best time, enjoy yourself, have fun, and be kind. Like, be kind's always in there, but it's have fun, enjoy yourself. And that's what, like, they go to school, they should be able to have a ball, not worry about a single thing.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I counsel a few teachers and all that, and that's one of the things that we constantly talk about. You've got the pressures within school: do this, do that, meet this target, meet that milestones, and all that. But some of the teachers I talk to just specifically talk about, I just want the young kids to have fun.
Yeah.
School should be an enjoyable environment.
Let them learn their own way through. Let them figure bits out. That young, they don't need to be worrying about what high school's going to be like. And it doesn't matter if you're not in a group. Okay, there's your own group. Create your own group. Find whatever suits you.
Find your own tribe.
Yeah, and that's what everyone's worried about, what other people are thinking. Then you come onto social media and I find the news and everything is just so heavy on children now, and it's let them play out, let them fall, let them hurt themselves, because it makes them wise. Oh, I won't do that again because I hurt last time, and I won't do that last time. That was a bit dangerous. Like, let them learn. As long as it's not risk the life, then let them learn. Let them try.
Okay, that's interesting you say that, because I'm of a perspective. I'm older than you, but I wonder whether or not our parents, post-war generation, okay, they've dealt with the Second World War, blah 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 blah, and society starting to rise up and improve, etc. And I don't know whether or not, as we're growing up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, whether or not we haven't had something that's dislocated us. Have we became complacent? Have we become, when we become parents, risk averse?
Yeah.
So kids can't climb trees and fall and that. We try and protect them from any eventuality, when the reality is we can't do that.
No, and society's got a lot to answer to that because of how dangerous it is out there for children now. So,
But
in,
aren't we part of society?
we
We are
are,
society.
unfortunately, the bad side of society is taking over the good. So, like, for example, remember back in the day, and my auntie, the same, used to leave her front door open. No
Yeah.
one would ever walk in unless they knew it or they had
Yeah.
no reason to be there. And it's the same, like, you can't do that, whether you live in a nice area or not. You're worried about your kids getting the bus to school because of the way the gangs are and people are. If they don't fit in, they don't wear designer clothes. And back in the day, it was none of that. People wore clothes just because they wore them to be comfortable in. How many different fashions there was back through the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And you probably still got the bullies and bits and bobs. And it's like everyone's out for themselves and no one realizes if we come together how powerful we can be. You know what? Invite them in. It doesn't matter. If they've got a trackie on that costs £20, their mum and dad have worked the bones off to probably put that on them. And they appreciate that more than your £1,000 Louis Vuitton shoes. Like the materials, they mean nothing. They are materials. That is it. And I struggle to see how I want to get past it because I want my kids to enjoy themselves and go out and have a ball and be able to ride a bike and not have it taken off them. And this is the problem: is parents don't want to parent these days, and they're happy to let the children cause riot. And there's no respect, there's no manners, and it's just I just find society's on a bit of a down. But at the same time, you've got people who are trying to do great, but it's not being advertised that people are doing great.
But good news doesn't sell papers, though, does it?
And this is the problem. And this is the problem that people want to see the doom and gloom and they're thriving off the negativity. Like we said earlier, they want to see bad stuff. They don't want to see good things happening because they're used to looking for bad things in the paper, bad news. And I think when they see the good press, they go, oh, okay, next one. Oh, look at this. Oh, isn't this terrible? Isn't this? Well, why be? We know knife crime's terrible. We know gang crime's terrible. We know drugs. We know we're in a bad situation for finances at the moment. So why not, like, let's put stuff out there to cheer people up? Like, like your social clubs, like for all the children, the youth clubs, they're all dying.
Well, but isn't that you mentioned that because I would say that there's a correlation when after the bankers crisis 2008 2009 after capital culture in Liverpool 2008, right, what we saw was a marked decline in youth centres. We saw detached youth workers having to support youth in parks, etc., where they congregated. We saw an increase in knife crime, and at the same time, people will say, Yinka, you're a conspiracy theorist. But at the same time, we saw the decimation of police
Of course.
as well, police numbers. So what we were creating a perfect storm there. If you haven't got a youth centre where kids can negotiate and rationalise, you've got that neutral space, then how are they going to learn? Oh, crap, they're out on the street. I'm going to join that gang. The initiation for joining that gang is you've got to carry a tool with you. And they're going to do that because they want to be part of that family.
But the other side is the other people carrying it. And
absolutely,
it's no excuse or defense. But
one begets the other.
Yeah, and this is where we're missing the key, the heart of like the social settings or like your boxing clubs. They used to be everywhere. Like a lot of them have got frustration. A lot of them have got undiagnosed like conditions and like ADHD, autism. Some may function, some may not. But give them something to stimulate the mind. Give them a little bit of purpose. And when I used to do my football or go to boxing, you'd be so excited to go because you'd be like, all the lads are there. You get to talk. You get to do this, and no one wants to do that no more. They all want to stand on the phones, all act like gangsters, and then just treat people like shit. And it's like, why? Why? Instead of putting all your effort into that, put it into something that's going to do everyone some good. But
tell us about the good that you did with your project.
So I set that up in the Isle of Gladstone. So the wonderful lady who owns it, Gemma, she reached out and offered me the whole venue for free, knowing exactly things aren't easy to set up, especially with councils. And so I set her up on the figures of in 2024, It was estimated roughly 4,300 men took their life in England alone. And to me, if you look at that on paper, you just see a figure and you go, oh, okay. So I thought, well, I'm going to do it with lights. And I placed down 4,300 lights on the Isle of Gladstone's ground. I had to represent each person.
Each male person?
Each male person, yeah, beg your pardon. So yeah, each male that has taken a life, it's one man every 2 hours and 12 men a day. It's
one man every 2 hours and 12 men a day lose their life to suicide.
Yep. And what are we like? There's people doing amazing things, but it's not advertised. Like the billboard company, I'm trying to crack the billboard companies to advertise mental health services for free. Stop charging them. It doesn't cost them to put on the system and send it to the televised billboard. Just give them 5 seconds every 4 minutes, or just advertise it. Let people know that there's stuff out there and they can go to. I find it amazing how they charge charities who are doing good, but they want lots of money to make them feel good. And like companies, Mental Health Month, they all advertise for the month. After that, they close the door.
Do you think there's something about the monetization of mental health and suicide? Or what's your take on it? Let me phrase it like that, because I've got my own views, but
on people earning from it, or the
both.
I see it as it's hard to do everything for free.
I don't disagree with that.
Which is hard, and especially if it's going to be people's livelihood, then they need to do as an earning to help with expenses for traveling and getting bits of kit and doing stuff. Like the lights weren't free, but they were heavily discounted, and I don't expect anything for free. And I think what is hard for charities or CICs or community centres now is all the funding is getting taken away and put elsewhere. For what reason? We know there's a crisis in mental health, so put the money in that. It's hard, and I think there's people out there who are happy to set it up and take the money for their own needs instead of putting it back in. And there's too much money going elsewhere that no one knows about, and people are doing it for the wrong reason, and the likes on social media, and I wanted to set mine up to show people that how impactful it is looking at 4,300 lights in person than on a piece of paper statistics. And it had that powerful impact. And I done it because from my heart, I was done it for a place for people to come to have a safe place to grieve, to talk to people they don't know, to air out their issues, anything they needed to. That was their safe space. And it was just so heartwarming seeing people come down and open up, and it just makes me want to push for more. I know I haven't really answered your question. I don't know.
No. Okay, just going back to your project, can people see that anywhere? Where can people see that? Or was that just a temporary thing? Is it on the website?
So for a couple of days. It was back on March the 13th it started, and it was on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I am in the middle of trying to source some funding or partnerships or sponsorships to help get the lights going. I have approached a couple of places in Liverpool, which I'm hoping one of them comes off and it will be lovely again. But I don't want it to just be a Liverpool project. I want it to be all over. I want people to be involved, come down, help install the lights, speak to other charities that are in that area, whether you're up here, London, Glasgow, Sheffield, it doesn't matter. If there's somewhere that can facilitate this and can help towards the funding, then let's get it done. Let's get people down. Let's get people talking, and let's build one big community that is just there to help each other. And that is something that I'm trying to achieve. And I think it will come, but it's just, then I say again, everything's a cost.
I think for me, just the frustrating thing for me, and I was talking to Chris about this. Well, in fact, she was telling me, we know that the cost of one death by suicide is, the government has said it's equivalent to 1.7 million.
It's astronomical, yeah.
We know that. That's the impact of one death cost to the taxpayers, etc. 1.7 million. And yet, of that 1.7 million, of that, we know that 60% is for those who've been bereaved, those
Yeah.
who've been left behind. Okay, we know that. And yet on LBC a few weeks ago, Chris was telling me this. Christine Clark
Yeah.
telling me this, that she was listening to a health minister, junior health minister. They were talking about putting £10 million into some fund for mental health and suicide. Bear in mind, we've got 1.7 for one death by suicide and 10 million. And then the following day, she was listening to a prison minister talking about combating drugs and other paraphernalia getting into prisons, and they were going to spend 150 million to wrap mesh around the prisons. And the question for me is this: how seriously, as a nation, as a society, do we take suicide?
We don't. They're not interested. And that's what I find, that these people higher up have never had to deal with anything remotely of mental health, any suicide problems or any struggles. To them, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect them. So why would they bother? And this is where I'm trying to advertise that the more we do it, the more we come together, the more we promote what's going on. For example, how much money the charities raise and then send to other parts of the world. The government then donates certain parts of the world money to fund wars. Why? How can they all of a sudden fund these hundreds or billions of pounds to fund that when we can invest it into our own?
But there's a question there, and I don't agree with you fully, but I agree with you in part. I understand about disaster and emergencies and all that. But right, if Western governments stopped selling arms,
Yep.
okay, and invested that money into communities, into this country itself, okay, we wouldn't have people. Firstly, we wouldn't have people in the boats coming here because they're desperate, because their homes are being decimated. We wouldn't have that, okay? We could have a better standard of living
Yep.
for the majority of people than just for the few.
Yeah.
Because there's an imbalance in that. And if we go back to looking at why people die by suicide, it's a multitude of reasons. But let's be honest about it. One of the biggest factors is the fact that the society that we've created isn't working.
No, it's not.
It's not working.
Help's not there. So, like you're saying, if we can invest this money to prevent suicide and mental health, imagine the pressures it takes off all the emergency services, the system,
100%. 100%.
right through from the children's care homes, right up to the hospitals, into this psychiatric ward. It will hugely impact them, and then it'll affect the staff less because they're not getting overworked.
Yeah, they won't be burnt out.
They're able to
Yeah.
help more people. So then the people who can
Yeah.
come in within a week or two get help instead of having to wait multiple weeks.
3 months. Yeah, 4 months.
And this is where, for some reason, people are talking about, but nothing's happening. And I don't know why. So why they can't invest that money to solve the problem. And it's going to be a continual investment. I get that. But the streets will be safer. And there you go. There's one thing, like the streets will be so much safer. People have a better mindset, and you'll see the difference happen. And it's not going to be a quick fix.
But as you say, it needs to be a longitudinal thing. There needs to be. It can't be about quick wins. It's got to be something that's sustained over a generation.
Of course, yeah. With our taxes and national insurance, the way like £1 that goes towards the emergency services. Okay, so why can't we do that to help fund? I don't know, every person who pays national insurance or tax, 20 pence off each person goes towards mental health, and start regenerating areas, building up. Like there's people out there who have the money to make the change.
100%.
Put that money in, whether it's people who are invested in the oil business, whether there's tycoons, whether there's these.
There's enough people. There's enough people out there.
There's people there.
And look, right, you've seen Liverpool 1. You've seen Liverpool. You've seen how Objective 1 has made a difference, right? But the investment has been in bricks and mortar and not in people.
Yeah.
Just a final thing. Tim put something in the comment. We look at this. We spend 100 billion on Trident as a deterrent.
Yeah.
It's never used. It's there as a deterrent.
Yep. And is anyone going to attack us? I'd probably say 99% no.
The chances are no,
But
because it'll be mutual assured destruction. We know
course.
this.
And look when all the ministers and they have all these big parties and everything's funded. Who is that come from? Taxpayers' money. So why they earn good money, so why can't they go to the place and pay for their own drinks, pay for their own food? So why is thousands or millions got to be used on that? It baffles me, but this is the problem I find with politics. I'm not into politics at all because I think you'll never ever solve the problem. But if you have someone who comes in and tries to fix the problem and doesn't, then the next time someone else comes in, they try to fix that problem and want their views in. So it's never a consistent pathway. It's always someone will come in, make their change for their benefit, and then they go and then someone else comes in, and it's just always back and forth. It just needs to be consistent where we all just under one umbrella. And
there needs to be a consensus that this is the strategy that we're going to follow. If we're going to reduce suicide rates in this country, then this is the strategy that right across all forums, political forums, we're agreed on this notion that this is the direction. The problem we've had is that we're halfway through a 5-year strategy and the numbers of suicide keep on increasing year on year. And the frustrating thing for me within all of that is that's with all the work that you and I know is going on.
Yeah.
Imagine if that work wasn't going on.
Oh, it'd be drastic. It's drastic now. I don't even have a word to express of what it'd be. There'd be no one left by the end. Like,
yeah, it's scary.
what do you think about that? Like,
Scary.
and that's just men. Like, a 4,000. I think it was. I think the full figures were like 3,000. Or was it like 4,231? I think was the figures for men. But I know some get recorded wrong or not on time, so they don't meet. And I think we're working 2 years behind.
We're working 18 months behind because there's always a lag there in terms of the Conyers inquiry to the now it's 5,200, so it's 74%.
Yeah, 3/4 are men.
Yeah,
3/4 are men, and don't forget within that there's boys, little boys.
When I used to do work with their papyrus, I used to work on their helpline and all that, and we did a campaign in April 2019 on the steps of St. George's Hall, and we put 226 pairs of shoes on the steps of St. George's Hall, and those 226 pairs of shoes represented the 226 school-aged children between 10 and 18 that had died by suicide. And the thing is, I'd say this in training. I don't know if you follow football or anything like that, but if 226 Liverpool supporters didn't return from a football match, there'd be a governmental inquiry.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, 200 school-aged children, an entire year group, die every year, and we don't hear anything. You know, that's somebody's loved ones lost.
They're babies. Like, they are babies. They're boys. Like I was saying, the only thing that you worry about is brushing their teeth. That shows how much society has pressure on these young children. In fact, they are 10 years old and they don't see the next day. And their option is to take, and I get some of them may come from very bad homes and stuff like that. And I don't know the full ins and outs, but to be 10 years old and only have in your mind, I'm going to take my life, and actually be able to do it, is that not concerning enough? That,
of course it is.
Prince William.
Yeah.
No, he's a massive advocate for it. Surely he has the sway to do something, to put something in place that, or he can get everyone together. Like the monarch, how powerfully they can make change. Something's got to happen. No child should be coming over from school and then not going
contemplating.
Like, because they've took their life. Like,
and Joe, just on that point, the ONS, the Office of National Statistics, only records suicides from the age of 10. but I can assure you that there's kids under the age of 10
Yep.
who have died and who have attempted to end their life.
It,
And it's like,
it,
really?
it,
Really?
it upset, like, it does. I get like goosebumps when you do it. Like, I think of like my son who's 7, like, break my heart that, like, how can they be in that mindset? And this is what I'm saying, it comes back to the bullying, the social media, parents not wanting to parent. There's no structure to anything no more. There's no respect. There's no love. There's just, people need to be easy on each other. Just, why can't people be kind? Just, and
Doesn't
that,
cost anything.
and that 7-year-old, that 8-year-old, like, would never do that. And they're scared to open up because they'll think, oh my God, if I say this, people are going to laugh at me. People are going to do that. Well, let them laugh at you and learn that it doesn't affect you.
But maybe that's something that needs to be taught more about in schools and within our home settings as well.
And this is my aim. I'm currently trying to set up to go around doing talks at schools, colleges.
You know, it's you made me think about something, because one of the things I always said about therapists is that it needed to be centralized. So if the government was responsible for all the therapists and all of that and took care of that, then that way then people could have access to that more readily.
Of course. And that's what it needs to be. Like you say, Yinka, that it needs to be accessible and quite quick.
Yes.
Some people can hang on for a couple of weeks. Some people can. Some people can't.
Yeah.
And people need to know that when they can't, there's somewhere to go.
There's somebody there for them. Yeah.
Hub of Hope. Not a lot of people know about the Hub of Hope.
I was going to mention it to you when you were talking about the campaigning thing. Yeah, Jake Mills and Chasing the Stigma.
I'm going to meet him either this week or next. All you do is put your postcode in, and it tells you every available mental health support near you.
Yeah.
Why is that not all over the papers? Why is that not on the sides of buses? Why is that not on the train? Why is that not on the radio? Just to tell someone, all you have to do is put your postcode, or if you're somewhere that isn't home and in crisis, you can still use your location and it will tell you the support.
And also as well, it can give you, and you can make an emergency phone call with it as well. Okay. Or text shout. And it's the largest mental health directory in the country.
Yeah, it is a lifeline for people. And
absolutely,
for some reason, I've spoke to people who are struggling with the mental health and being suicidal, and they're like, I've never heard of it. Why? Why has someone not heard of anything like that? You go on Google or AI, it'll tell you the answer to everything. And that's the same with the Hub of Hope is. You're looking for help, the answer's there. And the support. And for some reason, we just go about it and no one shares the news of what they do.
I think, you know, you worked in various circles and I have too. And I think we need to have this national campaign about suicide. It needs to be on the television. I think I talk about the big C. I'm of vintage that can remember. I'd heard about the big C, whereby they'd never utter the word cancer because it was like a contagion. Yeah. Now you see Macmillan tea and coffee mornings advertised every day. Yep. We've normalised it. We need to normalise conversations around suicide and mental health.
And people are scared because, what if it upsets them or what if it triggers them? All right, well, if it triggers them or upsets them, then their help's there to get. But
absolutely.
We're worried about upsetting people for the wrong reason. We're upsetting them for the right reason. We're not doing it to make people worse, make people think, oh my God. We're doing it to help. And we don't have to put a traumatic advertisement out there. It can be something so simple of a survivor talking about how it's impacted people, what's going on out there, and doing, and the good that's being done.
And I think the thing is that we need to be able to mention the word suicide, because mentioning it doesn't put that thought in somebody's head. They're either suicidal or they're not. End of.
And yeah, that is it.
Yeah. End of.
Yeah. And it's just, and it's like, people are like, oh, you can't say committed suicide because you're criminalising them. Oh, but how? How are you criminalising someone?
I think one of the things that we try and do, what we don't want to do, is use stigma around, because we know that we've decriminalised suicide 1961 and all that, but we've still got the stigma associated with how we talk about it. So maybe there's time there in terms of educating people. How can we talk about suicide with it being a judgmental thing?
Yeah,
I
and
think that's one avenue, and that takes time.
it does. And people are happy with one word, people aren't happy with another, and you can't please everyone. When you take on a mortgage, you commit to pay it over 35 years, but no one goes, you're bad, you're committing to paying a mortgage. Well, if someone's seen something through, they have committed to it. Like, I'm not doing it to be horrendously evil or upsetting to anyone. Was saying like that's what they've done. Whether it's lost life by suicide, whether they've taken their own life, or whether it is committed suicide, like it's all the same.
And you know what? I'd rather have the conversation than not have the conversation. So if
And
somebody uses committed, crack on with that.
yeah,
Let's have the let's just have the conversation. Let's talk about suicide.
I had someone challenge me, you can't say that, and I was like, why? You couldn't, like, you couldn't. I was like, I'm not. It's like they've committed to doing, like, they've been successful, and I'm not doing it to upset anyone. Like, that's just the way I've spoke about it, and I'll happily continue. If it upsets you, okay. Well, how do you want me to phrase it? Okay, let's talk about it this way. That is it.
Yeah, and we evolve. We evolve, don't we?
And I don't mean to upset anyone, God, it'd kill me if I knew upset someone, but it's like, I go back to my therapist and I always try and send this message on to someone. And he said to me, if I was to tell you the rest of your life, you'd only have one thought, what would you say? And I was like, well, no, I'd have more than one thought. And he'd go, okay, so why would you take your life on one thought? And I was like, oh yeah. So you have many thoughts, from getting up to getting a shower to going out. You're constantly having thoughts and you do it. But why that one that goes, right, that's it, take your life. Why would you act on that? Just on one thought. One. That is it.
That's a good shout there. That's a good shout.
And he's brilliant. He's Kevin Mullen. And I know I'm not trying to do that as a big, like, ooh, here's a shout out. He's been a massive, massive factor in how I've become where I am now. And yeah, I was just on a life coaching course with him. He's unbelievable.
Can I ask, how's it been for you being on the Hurt Locker?
Loved it. I love talking about how we can help. I'm happy to talk about my darker sides. I've been to the lowest I can ever be, and I'll never go there again. And if I struggle, I open up. I could do this every day. I'd love to have a chat with you every day and other people to just get it out there. And like I say, the more we come together and create one big community, people will see how powerful that we can be.
100%. I echo that. Final question. Go on.
I was going to say, like you say, we need to all come together and go and stand outside. But we need to do something that, like, emotionally changes the minds of the people who are in control. So come on, let's make a change. There's got to be something that can help the change.
There is. Final question. Who's the most important person in your life? You can only pick one person.
Myself.
Do you believe that?
Of the reason that if I don't have any self-worth, any value, then I'm not here. But then from that, I'm able to love and support my family. So I see, I don't know, I don't want that to sound selfish in a way.
Not selfish.
I appreciate.
Let me phrase it this way then. You're the most important person in your life because you're the expert of you.
Yeah.
You know what makes yourself happy. You know what makes yourself sad. And only by attending to your needs first and foremost can you be fully there for the people whom you love and care for. Imagine if you took care of business for you. Imagine how much more richer and textured and layered that love and care would be for those important people in your life. But it starts with you, and it's not being selfish.
And this is what people need to realize. It's self-love, having confidence in yourself, believing in yourself. As soon as you figure out, like, how good that feels, it's better than any medication, anything you can have. You'll thrive with it.
100%. You know what? It's been a pleasure having you on, Joe. I know it's been a few months in the making and that, but we got there in the end.
And it's no, it helped me. I've had an hour of talking to you of my problems, my solutions. I genuinely, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you.
You being there doing this, like, it does help. Like, how many people you've had and you've spoken to, and it's just nice. It's another person who cares. When you find out someone actually cares, it's the best feeling in the world.
It's boss. It's boss. We're gonna wrap up this podcast.
Yep.
Have you eaten tonight?
Not yet.
Okay, so you're gonna have a scran in a bit and all that, and then probably snuggle up with the missus and put the kids to bed, and then watch something on the box and that.
Yep.
So let's see. So about 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yep.
There's a knock at the door. You go to the front door, and it's 12-year-old Joe Jones there. What do you say to him?
Come in. And just tell him that everything is going to be fine. Everything's safe. If you can create a safe environment, then how can things go wrong for you? Like, show them the care they need, that they deserve. Show them how to find courage. Show them how to find love, how to give love. And things will get better. And that's what people got to believe. Things get better. And it's hard. But you're up. If you're out of bed, excellent. There's one move. Take it step by step. Got a shower.
100%. Make your bed.
Yeah. Like, you're done. And people don't realise how much of a challenge it is, but you've done it. And pat yourself in the back. And that would be the same of putting your arm around. If it was little Joe at the door, putting their arm around them. Like, I got you. And that's what it is. It's just being there.
Joe Jones, you've been a gift to the Hurt Locker today. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate you, and I'm grateful, very, very grateful, and hope we can do much more.
We shall do. Don't worry about that. And that's a wrap, Tim. The Hurt Locker is a safe space for our guests to openly share their mental health experiences. If you have been affected by any of the content in this recording, then please reach out for support. If it is an emergency, dial 999. If you would like to talk to somebody today, then please call the Samaritans on 116 123. Stay safe. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Hurt Locker. Please give us a rating or share with another listener. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Hurt Locker Pod.